What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing this fine day? This is Rules Crypto, and I know I usually go on and create little educational videos about Cardano, but I've had a lot of questions lately from my friends and whatnot, and that's what this video was originally for, was for them to post it on our private little investors page about Solana. Would I invest in Solana? What do I think about Solana? And so today, I'm going to get into a little bit of data. I'm going to have a little video clip, and I'm also going to create a phantom wallet today. And you're going to hear a lot of conjecture and opinion. If you follow me on Twitter, you know I'm pretty well biased, but as far as Cardano goes, I mean, that's what my whole channel says here. So let's get into it real quick. Without further ado, let's install this wallet and start there. So I'm using the Brave browser here. Simple enough, adding the extension, and I used Solana for some time. I've even messed around on the I think it was called Radium Dex at the time. I'm pretty sure it's still alive. Did a little DeFi and staking. So for the purpose of video here, I'm just going to go ahead and create a wallet that I'm not going to keep. Screwed that up there a little bit. So go ahead and take a quick copy of this and just paint it real fast since I'm not going to keep it. And to make this easier, crop that out real quick so I can keep it on the side of my screen. And we'll say I saved it. Sure. Continue. You can open Phantom at any time using this handy keyboard shortcut. Okay, thank you. Alright, so let's go ahead and open it up now. And there's my wallet. And as you notice here, and this is really the whole point of me making this video, doesn't really matter where you make a wallet at. Whatever blockchain you may choose. I mean, I've used Algorand, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Cardano. So we created a wallet, yes. Here's our recovery phrase, right? Okay. So now that we have this wallet, let's see here. Let's go ahead. See if we can first of all just remove it. I don't think I remember how exactly to do that, but just for giggles, let's go ahead and remove this from Brave, right? So we remove it, and then we're going to just go ahead and reinstall it again. Bam. I already have a wallet. Okay. So this is gonna make my video look really stupid, but this was kind of the whole point of what I was trying to prove. Like I said, I've created wallets all over the place for different blockchains, and this is kind of what I'm trying to get into with Solana. Character, trust, manipulation, deceiving, or deceit. When I worked in construction, for example, if somebody told me it took them 3 hours or they worked for 3 hours, and that's what I paid them for. But then when I found out later, and maybe this is a bad analogy, what they actually did and I found out it took them 3 hours to complete a temporary wall that would have taken me 20 minutes. That showed me about their character, right? So, that's odd, right? I created a wallet with this recovery phrase. For some reason, though, now I use this recovery phrase right here that it gave me, created one wallet. I don't remember asking to create all these other ones. I did extensive research on this, and as far as everything goes, there was nothing on the Solana docs, guides, or anything that showed or explained that or why they do this or that they did do this, which is odd to me anyways. It's kind of what I'm getting to as far as, and like I said, this is opinion. So I've used my recovery phrase. And from that recovery phrase, I think I spelled that wrong. Yeah. Went ahead and restored the wallet, or so I thought was restoring a wallet. Turns out that when you create a wallet, now look, on Solana, instead of just creating one wallet like every other blockchain I've ever used in the beginning of time, yeah, I pretty much think, yeah, I don't think there's ever been a blockchain where I take a recovery phrase that I created a wallet with and it creates, what was the number on that now? 56 more wallets. So you can quickly see how ridiculous this is. If 10 people create a wallet on Solana, Solana automatically has the stats for 560 wallets, new wallets being created on their blockchain. And I'm probably going to piss a lot of people off here, but maybe I won't because I'm not that popular. But this first came to mind back on Twitter for me, and I meant to make a video on it, but I never did. Got a little bit into like a flame war with this person. I'm not really sure. She said, or he said, I'm not sure, said I don't even understand how wallets work, but I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of how they work. I've also done quite a bit of research, but that was one of the points I was trying to make here. So let's get into my next thing. I'm going to mute myself and just going to speak on the level of character and trust. I'm going to play this short clip and I'm going to mute myself. Here we go.
Solana. And how they went about that was devising a scheme basically to maximize Solana's total value locked. So these two brothers would.
Oh, hold on, real quick. Let me fix this real fast. Sorry. Just so we're not losing anything here.
Ecosystem on Solana. And how they went about that was devising a scheme basically to maximize Solana's total value locked. So these two brothers would essentially work hand in hand. They're both developers, and they would build protocols that stack on top of one another. And then that would basically cause the dollar amount to be counted several times. So we're talking about a ton of fake total value locked. And if we actually take a look at the numbers that we're talking about, by their count, they comprise 7.5 billion of Solana's 10.5 billion total value locked at their peak. So the total value locked is exponentially smaller than 7.5 billion that was lying in these protocols because billions of those dollars were essentially double counted between the two protocols. So you're talking about maybe a fourth of, or 4 times what that value should be. So really we're talking about somewhere between 2 and 2.5 billion that they should have actually been logging in the total value locked, and instead it was 7.5 billion. Now, why that's an issue is because one of the big things that folks were talking about, especially back in the fall of last year, was how incredibly quickly the Solana DeFi ecosystem was growing. But when in reality, a large chunk of this was actually being double counted, it was faked, it wasn't net new funds coming into the DeFi ecosystem and instead being double counted. So if we see here, it's basically this write up right here is about where that article is talking about. So when we hit 10.3, 10.5 total value locked, 7.5 billion of that was coming from this kind of fraudulent, fake scheme to basically boost the total value locked. So we're talking about 60 to 80% of the total being faked. So that's definitely something we need to keep our eye on. I mean, obviously now, Solana.
Okay, so that pretty much gets at what I was trying to say. Another form of deceit and manipulation. Now, but obviously, there's going to be bad actors on any blockchain. Really doesn't matter what you support. You're going to find people that are going to try to inflate their numbers, or just like in real business, a company tries to inflate their revenue, or lie to the IRS about their numbers. It's just going to happen. But I'm more or less laying out a narrative of what I'm trying to get at. Let's go here real quick. A blockchain is not one single thing. It is a swarm of servers. Like, I think that's supposed to be a bumblebee. Altogether, these servers represent a blockchain like a beehive. These servers belong to no one, or rather anyone. Anyone can be a part of the blockchain, and you can use your grandma's laptop as one of these servers. All the nodes store a copy of the data. Actually, your grandma's hardware is not probably going to cut it, but you got my point. So, anyone can. Actually, anyone can't, unless you want to spend about $10,000 to $15,000 on the hardware. So, a little bit of an overstatement or exaggeration. Anyways, so let's go ahead and take it a step further now, and just go ahead, and I went to explore.solana.com to go ahead and do a little bit of research. Obviously, I spent some time on this page. There was actually another little nugget of information I wanted to share, but I can just do it right here. So Solana is a little bit different, to whereas Ethereum creates a block every 15 seconds, I believe. Cardano is around 20 also. Solana creates a block, I think, every 400 milliseconds. I'm sorry, that was my ring. So it's creating blocks significantly faster. Significantly faster. What does that mean? Well, if it's creating blocks faster, it's also going to have a higher transactions per second, which, as we know, isn't always the greatest metric to compare blockchain to blockchain from Solana to Ethereum. But one thing I noticed that is odd or strange about this site is a few things. The transaction counter on the site. After watching it for a while, you will see it counts up a few thousand, and then it reverts back. So it's counter to me, and this is, like I said, just conjecture at this point. I don't really think it's counting anything. I think this is just a counter that they put on the site to go up every couple thousand and then get shot back down and recount. That, it's a little bit deceiving from watching it. A lot of manipulation there. So let's dive a little bit deeper. And this was just a few hours of research. Like I said, I came to this opinion a while ago about Solana, but this was just a few hours of research today. I went ahead and looked on their little Explorer Solana net site and went through some of the transactions. Now, with the way that that transaction counter was moving and the amount of blocks that they make every second, the transactions should be going bananas pretty much. But this is one thing I saw earlier was now Solana has this vote program. You can see all transactions for this block. Now, obviously, every second I'm talking, another 2.3 blocks are created on Solana. So it's impossible to review all the transactions easily, or at least it's impossible for them to show you, I think is my point. But now you have a lot of these transactions. So 1700 minus 1320 is around 400 transactions. That actually took place. Everything else is their vote program. You might say, well, they're voting, they are signing it, it is a transaction. I agree. It is a transaction, absolutely. And these vote programs are basically set up for validators from what I understand. And I don't necessarily remember it, but I didn't spend enough time, I'm sorry, I'm going through here, on the blockchain to really get into the nitty gritty of it. But let me just show you some comparisons real quick as far as transactions goes. And this is Etherscan. And let's see here. We'll just go into transactions, and wow, gas is getting low on Ethereum. Good for you guys. But I believe you can update this every 5 minutes or something on Etherscan, and you'll notice that it's pretty detailed as far as that goes. It will timestamp it and everything. 35 seconds ago, August 17th. And then this is Cardano scan. Let's go into transactions. It's also very detailed. And Algorand, I love Algorand's transactions, Explorer, and all that stuff. It's very detailed, very beautiful. It updates on the fly. Personally, I've only used Algorand a couple of times, but it looks like the tech is there for this one, so I might have to do a little bit more research. Anyways, if you go back to Solana here, and let's just go to cluster stats, you'll notice that there's no real way to just hit transactions. Not very detailed, and maybe I'm looking on the wrong Explorer. So, again, this is just my opinion. But being able to click the block, you can obviously look into those transactions. I don't really have much more to say on that other than I think there is a lot of manipulation. Solana's blockchain, it's a company set for you to invest your money, and I don't think they really care. This was a clip from November 7th of when they announced earlier this week they had finally broken over 1 million active users, an impressive feat for a wallet that has only been around for a couple of months. Yeah, it's not that impressive whenever each user that creates one wallet actually creates 56. So, and I believe at the time of me figuring this out, it was actually down to 32, where I used my restoration and it created 32 wallets. Now it's creating 56 wallets when you use your restore seed phrase. So you could see as over time, things have become more and more inflated. And if they're lying about this, how accurate is their Explorer website and their transactions per second? I think I just went into it right there with their unbelievable fast counter that doesn't make sense. Um, Maybe they really do have that many transactions per second, but my point is, I don't think it matters. I think that they're gaming the system to make like their system is a lot better than it is. And if you've used Solana like I did, if you walked away from it like I did, you know precisely what I'm talking about. There's just a lot of issues, and they need to get their act together quickly. But you know, when you have a lot of big money investors and institutions, people are just there to make the quick buck. So that is my video for the day. Just a basic point. Would I invest in Solana? No, probably not. I would not. As far as a proof of stake protocol, it's nothing like Cardano. You have to lock it up and get validated and have it spin up, and then in order to withdraw your rewards, you have to withdraw them, and that takes time to unspin and unlock your rewards. And in the end, it's just it doesn't seem like a viable blockchain to me in order to invest in. So I hope you guys have a good day, and I appreciate you all listening to my spiel. And I wasn't trying to hurt anybody's feelings. This is strictly my opinion, and that's all that it is. Do I think Solana could be a kick-ass company? Probably. Will I invest in it? Probably not. Take it easy. I'm out.